my own story. Well, we'll start from the beginning. Where's my first slide? Okay, that's the start. So you'll see my, nakakahiya. Okay, those are my pictures when I was a child. So I was part of a very typical Filipino family. I'm the youngest of three. I have a kuya, I have an ate. My parents never really gave us everything we wanted. We weren't spoiled at all. But of course, they gave us everything we needed. I'm so lucky I got to go to good schools, graduate, all that. So I consider myself very lucky. But very typical Pinoy. Pinoy values, go to Mass every Sunday, like that. But one specific story about my mom, actually, that I want to share was, she always taught us when we were younger. So we're three kids. Of course, we'd fight about toys, food, everything, agawan. So she would always say, when we had new books or a new gift, a new toy, she'd always say, for example, my sister would borrow from me and I'd say, I don't want, ayoko. No, this is my toy. And then my mom would always say, you don't know how to share pala, I won't give you na next time. Or for example, if my brother would share his new books with us or new toys, he'd say, oh, Juan Carlos, that's the name of my brother, Juan Carlos, very good. You know how to share, that means next time I'll give you more because you know how to share what you have. So it was just that typical story all the time when my siblings and I would fight, that my mom would tell us that. Little did I know, as I grew older, that little story, that little lesson, that little pagalit of my mom would make a huge impact in my life. So I wanted to give a talk into the context of, how am I going to raise a child? The world is so scary, diba? Who here is newly married or pregnant or doesn't know it yet? Or a father, a mother? I'm sure I'm already so scared of what I could probably teach my children, how I will bring them up, how strict I'll be, because it's so scary out there. So this is my husband. His name's JC. That was a picture when we went to the doctor and first heard the heartbeat of our baby. So all the moms here, I'm sure you can relate that that's a touching moment. I'm not gonna cry, don't worry. But yeah, we haven't really talked about how exactly we will bring up our children. But I think my husband and I got along because we were brought up very similarly. So even if we haven't talked about how exactly we will bring up our children, I think we want to teach them two very important things. First is we want him or her to have the freedom to pursue whatever he wants. Both my husband and I, we didn't take a typical career path. I went into the entertainment business. He is a professional athlete. Both of us, our careers have a deadline, meaning pangbata lang usually. So what are we going to do beyond that? It's not a typical lawyer, doctor, banker, alam mo yung mga ganon. But whatever it is our child wants to get into, we want him or her to find his passion and pursue it. We will make him or her free to choose that. And I think the second thing is that we want to teach our future child or future children that the world does not revolve around him or her. And I know now in the internet age, in the social media age, it's very me, diba? Parang, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm eating, this is what I'm wearing, this is what I'm thinking. It's all me, and it's so scary because that's such a new thing, right? So how much more narcissistic will the kids of the future be because we have that, right? So we want to teach our future child to be good as he or she can, and to know na hindi umiikot ang mundo sa'yo, anak. Hindi dahil hindi mo nagagawa yung gusto mo, end of the world na. The world is so much bigger than you, and you are here to be good and be of help to others. So far, I think that's what we want to teach our child. So which brings me to the topic of today, nation building. When I hear really the word nation building, I feel like, ooh, big word. Diba? Parang nation building. How can I be a part of that? And I think all of us, when it comes to this theme, we think I'm just one person. What can I possibly do to make the Philippines a better place? Parang it's such a big concept and I can't quite grasp it. I think a question I want to help you answer here today is, how can you really personally feel that you are part of nation building? So I guess this is related to what we want to teach our future children. The first thing really is, find what you are passionate about. The word advocacy may be big, it may be thrown around, and people think it's really just about NGO work and donating and volunteering. But for me, it really goes beyond that. So, what are you passionate about? I'm sure you're all passionate about waking up in the morning and going to work. Aside from that, guys, so I'm sure beyond work, you all have interests, hobbies. Maybe some of you like painting. Maybe some of you like baking or cooking. Some of you are really into saving the environment. Maybe some of you are into sports. Maybe some of you are into writing, into traveling. Just what are you passionate about? Ask yourself these questions. What do you really like doing? As in, when you do it, ang saya-saya mo. Oh, I really like doing this. Or what are you really good at? Whether it was a subject in school or a skill or a sport. What do you love doing that if someone asks you to do it, even if for free, you'd say, sure? What is something that your friends go to you for? What do they ask you for advice on or help on? Or whenever someone needs something about this particular thing, ikaw yung point person. What is that? Or, what comes so easy to you? You may not really like it, but dali-dali naman. Ganon. I'm sure there's something, right? So, put all that together, put all those questions together, think about what your answer might be. And add to that another question. What does the country need? What does the world need, aside from love? So I think finding your passion and then joining it with what other people need is something key that everyone in this room should figure out. So, Marv, what do I have? What does the world need? What do I have? What does the world need that I can give? If you kind of find a match to that, you will see that that is how you extend yourself to others, which again is how, hopefully, what I want to teach my future child. So, yun nga, again, advocacy is such a big word, like, ooh, advocacy. But for me, advocacy now is not just limited anymore to NGO work, like I said, or donating or volunteerism. It's not just that. Advocacy is whatever you are passionate about, sharing it with other people. Now, which goes to my work na. Okay, so my work, medyo weird to join advocacy in my work. Because my work, I'm a TV host. I interview people. I pry into their lives. I try to get juicy chismis. I try to get the scoop. I basically pakialamera. And then I share that story. So if you think about it, my gosh, how can that be an advocacy? If there are chismosa people here, maybe you can relate. I guess, I don't exactly know at what point it happened, but I guess I found meaning in finding chismis, which is really the importance of the story. You may have chismis, but if it's the story of someone who did something wrong but made it right, or who did something bad but turned it to good, or the story of a mistake made and how they forgave themselves or someone else, diba? There's something to be learned. I usually profile celebrities, and as much as possible when I tell their story, whether I write it in the newspaper or share their story in a magazine or share their story on television, I try to humanize them. I try to make them relatable, and hopefully you'll find inspiration from whatever it is they went through. So I've gone through and interviewed so many inspiring people. I'm so lucky. I'm so #blessed to do the work that I do. Inspiring stories like, for example, Senator Pia Cayetano, who is a triathlete. She's an Iron Woman, actually. And she actually only started running 40-plus years old na siya. Not even in her 20s. I mean, she played volleyball, yeah, but she started running only when she was 40. And she only started running because she has 2 daughters, and then her 3rd child, her son, passed away because of a chromosomal disorder. So she wanted to run away from the pain. And eventually, sports became her advocacy, and now she's like spearheading bills in the Senate about women and sports and health. Stories like that of course, another runner, Coach Rio de la Cruz. Do you know him? The guy with a big afro. Okay, he grew up in the poorest of the poor communities. He started running with a pair of shoes from his kapitbahay that didn't fit. He had to cut out the front because nga it didn't fit. He just had to tie it, so his toes were sticking out, but he'd still run every day. And eventually got scholarships from schools, but still was not enough to pay, so he took on side jobs in the palengke and all of these. And now he produces almost every major run in the country and is like a multimillionaire. So stories like that. Aside from sharing stories through media, I'm very lucky, #blessed, na I guess it's because people were seeing me on TV or reading about my name on print that they took notice, and I was able to do other things like write a book about advice on growing up, or now I'm an ambassador for the Climate Change Commission, and I'm part of Global Shapers Manila, which I all feel I'm just a normal person. I don't think I would be able to be part of all of those, or maybe someone would not listen to me if I didn't come out on TV or whatever. But I think everything added up together and the stars aligned, and thankfully, and as much as I can, I try to use the opportunities I have to be able to share at least a message that will help someone, or at least boost their self-esteem, parang ganon. Siguro as a last point, I want to share that nation building, or an advocacy, or this whole thing about building tomorrow, it doesn't really require you to give your life to it. It doesn't, I mean, as much as we admire people like Mother Teresa or Gandhi, or about to speak Sir Tony Meloto, they are talagang 1 in a billion. We're not all required to give our whole lives. We're just required to be us. So just be you. I think if you find whatever it is that you care about, try to make other people care about it. And if it makes someone's life better, or if, again, it helps someone boost their self-esteem, even just one person, you know that you're really on the right track. So with that, for me, I'd say nation building is all of us doing our little part to hopefully push others to do better and live better lives. And I actually wrote this line way before I saw the script. And this is actually what Accenture is all about, and you're 30 years. So perfect.